go. All right, I am set up. Let's do this.
Are you just... Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right. Tatama, welcome on in. Give people a little bit to get in here.
I expect like 200 viewers here.
Minimal.
Everybody wants to talk about meshing, you know?
I heard it's a big deal.
Nah, nothing. Nothing.
HD, what's going on? Good to see you.
HD was good. Thank you. Yeah, I like the background music.
All right.
Phantom X.
Thank you for the resub, Phantom. Or excuse me, what did Steven say it was? Fant MX?
MX, yep.
Phantom.
Phantom.
All right. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm good.
Hey.
You can call me daddy.
All right. Thank you again, Fant MX, for the resub.
My camera frozen on your stream.
Oh, it sure is. That's weird.
You're good on my end. I think it's just a him thing.
Yeah, it's just me. Let me re-add you.
Another day. Yeah. Just another fantastic server meshing day. So. So that thing we talked about, Nyce, I decided not to do it because this is the first time I've gotten to talk to Ritchie, and I figured it'd be better if I started off on the right foot instead of, doing a bit the entire time. So
yeah.
I don't even want to know.
So you know that message you got yesterday?
Which one?
On Facebook or on YouTube about the person complaining about Q3.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So we've been getting those types of messages in our Discord as well for like the last 5 days, and I was just gonna play the character the entire live stream. And I was like, I better not do that for this one. Maybe I'll do it for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, the closer we get, the more they're gonna pop up. You're already starting to see it. So
do it that way. I'm doing it the difficult way.
You sharing my map out there.
All right, chat. We're gonna make Ritchie's dream come true. Make him bigger.
There we go.
And now he broke his mic.
There we go. Now he's proper size. Can you guys hear me?
Much better.
All right. Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
All right. How you doing, Lobster? Tatamo. Tatama says you got your computer science degree, right? Nice. Time to teach us more about server meshing. Yep, I know everything. I understood everything that was in that stream. Like, I can't wait to teach you guys about all this tech stuff. Yeah, Jamie, doing it live. What up, dude? All right, so let's go ahead and do this properly. We have, for the first time, one of the most popular, famous, awesome AOC content creators, Mr. Ritchie SH himself. Before we get into that, let's do a proper introduction. What are we on, else? Is it 53 or 2?
I thought it was 2.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get this officially started. We'll edit out all this me can't set up a stream stuff later, because
Yeah,
you guys know I'm such a tech. I'm a really good tech wizard. That's why I'm here to teach you guys about server meshing today.
It's all right. I'm 2 for 2 on streams, not starting out fine. Jamie screwed up his the whole time too.
Oh, what's funny about that is we have Jamie next week, so it's just gonna be a huge mess.
Excellent.
Just a huge mess. So welcome to episode 52 of the Voices of Verra with myself, Nyce Gaming, no one. And today we have a very special guest, Ritchie. And of course, our very long time favorite guest ever, you, the Voices of Verra. We are on the aftermath of a good stream, I'd say. We'll go ahead and get our rankings out of 10. Oh, you know what? Here, 1 second, chat. Thank you for letting me know about that. Someone said background music. Let me do this. Maybe that'll help. There we go. We are on the aftermath of a good stream, right? It's a lot of good information out of this stream. And we're going to be discussing that. But first, I want to give another proper introduction to Ritchie SH. You guys should know him. He's tagged in the title, but I'm sure if you guys are aware of us, you're aware of Ritchie. So, yeah. Ritchie, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself. And I know you're also a member of the Genesis Guild. So, another content creator and, potential guild thing. So I'll kind of just let you go where you want with it. Go ahead and introduce us, talk about your content and everything like that.
So it wouldn't be me on a stream if I didn't tell everybody watching to go join Genesis, the best guild out there. But obviously, as Nyce said, I am Ritchie SH. I do a YouTube channel that covers all sorts of Ashes of Creation news and speculation and all that good stuff. Unless you ask the PAX Day devs, then I have a New World channel that covers all the same stuff for New World. That doesn't exist. But yeah, that's all there is to it.
Nice. So I want to go ahead and start this off, like getting right into it. Welcome on in, Fuppa. Welcome in, Thogly. Everybody, appreciate you guys being here. How you doing, Lobster? So I want to go ahead and start this off with Antar says, agreed, this stream was one of the best in my opinion. Ooh, you know what? Let's put let's put Ritchie on the hot seat.
Yeah,
Ritchie,
absolutely.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rank this stream? And before we get into this, do we want to go by stream or like I use this in quotes, gameplay portion? I think it's fair to do it as the whole stream as a whole. So simply because it wasn't real gameplay, so
the stream as a whole, I'd give it like a 9. The server side of thing alone, like I'm not a tech guy, so like they can talk at me all day long and I'm gonna understand half of what they're saying. But it was the info after the stream after that I think really bumped the score up a bit.
Okay. So you said a 9 with the news and everything. What about you, no one?
Well, I am also like Ritchie. I am not a tech person. I will say this. There's no way any of us would be able to sell the audience that this is the most exciting live stream of the year, that it's going to top like Caravan PvP, that it's going to top like any of the other live streams that have happened. I will say I will agree with the person that you talked to that this has the potential to be the most influential live stream in that they're attempting to solve a problem that MMORPGs have faced for years due to just technology constraints. And it's good. And like what Ritchie said, I have no idea if this is going to work out. None of us know until we get in there and test. But I will just say that it's nice to see them do something different than what everybody else is doing, which is sharding and instancing and all these other things that make the game feel more, not really massively multiplayer, right? And so
yeah,
I love that they're incorporating technology in order to do those things. I'm very excited at the possibilities, like their hints with PI, and we'll dive into the details a little bit later, I'm sure. But I liked it. We'll have to see how it tests. I'll give it like a 7.1 overall. Like it's not, it was never meant to be exciting, but the information I think is going to make or break the game.
Okay, good take. Yeah, we got Richard here at Copium Clinic. Yeah, I agree, J-Rock and Pally. It was pretty good. I wouldn't say best stream, Pally, and thank you guys for the follows as well. I am going to start off by saying I'm in the same boat as you. I give it a good 7. Now, it wasn't an important stream, and I think we got a lot of good information, which would bump it up to about a 9 or 10. Well, probably a 9. Because we got a lot of good news. We got the Alpha 1 spot testing coming soon. We got a confirmation that we're going to get the Alpha 2 date this month. So that's really good. We also got confirmation of the Bard archetype premiering this month in a showcase. So that's really good. I think we all assumed. If they didn't confirm it, I was going to speculate it today. Like, there's no way it's not this month. But yeah, so that's good to know. I will say...
Oh, you got key sales coming back too.
Key sales, yes, that was another big
discussion.
Big discussion. What? Do we want to start with that discussion? That's a tough one. That's a really tough discussion. Let's save that one. Let's save that one. Let's see. 7. Richie said 9, considering all the news.
The news was very good. I do agree with Richie on that. I haven't given out a 9. I haven't given out a 9 yet this year, and I'm not going to yet. Okay, we're halfway through the year, so I have to save it.
I always hype everything up. I feel like that's my job at this point, is to take whatever is given to us and then blow it up on an enormous scale. So
every live stream this year I've said is live stream of the year, and I felt like I haven't lied yet. So except for the one before this and 2 before this, and then this one. So I'm right there with you. I've been hype man for 5 out of the 7 months.
Okay. So you're a doomer. Got it.
Yeah, it's 7 months or nothing. Ash's hater over here.
Let's start this off before we talk about the Alpha 2 keys being reopened. Let's start this off with some general feedback for our good folks over there at Intrepid. So this stream, we learned a lot, chat. We learned about server meshing, a bunch of tech geeky stuff that I'm not going to understand. I managed to post my video before stream today. I said before stream, not before Intrepid stream, before this stream. And try to summarize a lot of the information. But at the end of the day, chat, this was some geeky stuff. Like, this was an interesting tech stream in the sense that, and I said this, I think, last stream, last Voices of Verra, but this seemed like a stream not aimed for garnering feedback. And what I mean by that, it seems like it's not, how usually they have the forum questions like what would you change about this? What MMO do you feel did this right? Et cetera, stuff that you can give direct feedback on. This one, it's like we can't say anything that's gonna change Intrepid's mind on how they're going about server meshing and blah blah blah, all this tech stuff.
Yeah, and even if we did, like if you gave them feedback at this point, like you could do this, we have no idea what we're talking about. So like they could already be doing that, or they could be like, no, we can't do that. That's physically impossible.
And that's the thing. It's more like a brag, like put your nuts on the table, like, hey, look what we're doing. It's like it's almost like a bragging to their competitors. Yes, in one sense, you can say like, okay, this is them reassuring us, the players, that we're going to have good performance. It's also, in a sense, justifying why they're opening Alpha 2 sales. We'll get more to that in a second. Like saying that, hey, we can handle this much people. Here's how we're doing it. Here's how we're innovating things. And performance is very amazing. I've played games with bad performance, so I know how awesome this is. But this didn't seem like a feedback stream. This is more like, hey, look at the progress we've made. Please have faith. Like, this is going to be good.
Well, yeah, and to piggyback off that as well, Nyce. Let's be honest about the space, right? Like the MMORPG space is in such a bad spot that everybody's looking forward to the next big thing. Like that, like so I would rather talk about a game that's not out yet than play one of the current MMORPGs because I mean the biggest one for me, and you know this already, Nyce, it's performance. Like my biggest problem when I hop onto like the game that I enjoy the most is the game doesn't work very well. And I get really frustrated, I get annoyed, and it doesn't matter how much I enjoy the combat, it doesn't matter how much I enjoy the systems, the game doesn't work. And it doesn't work enough for me to enjoy it. And so when you look at what the tech stream is, I think we're all saying the same thing. We don't know if this is going to work, but it is fantastic that they're attempting to do something different because you know the next step forward in the genre is going to do something different than what all the other MMORPGs have done. And so whether or not they're successful, we have no idea. We won't know until we get in and test the systems and everything. But they're heading in the right direction, which is innovation and attempting to figure out the big problem of having a bunch of people trying to engage in the world together.
Yes. Just to steer off subject, else when you get a chance while we're talking throughout this stream, I do have a new pinned comment on the other platform. I think you'll really appreciate it. It's from our friend the Copium Clinic. I think you really appreciate that one.
On your video today, or
no, this live stream.
Okay, I will check it out.
Just know it has something to do with performance issues. So yeah, so this is I think everyone in chat, yeah, like Hellstalker here saying if they can get it to work, then their goals of 250 versus 250 is guaranteed. It's very important, and like Fuppo said, it's good to just show off sometimes, and I think that's what this one was, and I think it's fine. You're selling a product, you're bragging simultaneously. It's a really good thing. Rive says, how many times has Ritchie plugged the Genesis Guild? He's required to do it 10 times. You'll be disappointed to find out he's only done it 6 times. Only 6 times.
Join Genesis, the best guild ever.
He's getting there. He's going to meet his marketing quota.
100%. We got this.
If you guys don't see 2 people join the Genesis Discord after this stream, then Ritchie has failed, and we should all blame him.
I want at least 15 of you. So I don't even know if you have 15 viewers right now. I don't have that on, but if you do, I want every single one of them in Genesis.
Excellent.
You hear that, chat? You guys got to join the Genesis Discord. We need to see 3 applications. So let's go ahead and fast forward. We talked about Bard. We talked about all the news. Let's dive into what is perhaps the biggest news. No, first off, let's start with the fact that we're getting Alpha 2's date. So Els was talking earlier about how he was gonna kind of meme around with the Doomium, because I don't know what it was, and Els, you can talk about this too. I don't know what it was, but as soon as Q3 hit, there was so much Doomium in the community. My goodness, like, Fuppo, we're so close to 700 followers. Yeah, we're at 697 on Twitch. Let's go, you guys. If you guys aren't already following, that'd mean a lot if we hit that 700 goal. But I don't know what it is with Q3 starting and people not instantly having a date for Alpha 2 at midnight. But people went into full panic, man. Like, people were really huffing the Doomium, like, oh my gosh, this game's a scam. Like, they don't respect my time. I got to put in time for work. And Q3 is started. And I need to tell my boss, like, bro, relax. It just started July. Bro, 10 o'clock a.m. in Discord, July 1st, and people were going crazy. I'm like what is going on? Here.
So people can see what we're talking about.
Man, I got there's at least 15 people in Discord. I went off in the main AOC Discord, man. I'm supposed to be Nyce Gaming. I get it, you guys, but I was reading so much that I told, and it shut the conversation down, but I told everybody to go outside. We're all excited for this game. Don't get me wrong. I literally do a weekly stream at minimal for this game. I don't got, I'm not using my time the most wise, but I'm not sitting here obsessing about the game. Well, I am, but I'm doing it in a more healthy manner than those guys. Just go play something else. Go do something else. Pass the time. It was ridiculous.
I don't understand where it came from. Because all of a sudden it just started happening last Thursday or last Friday. It's been like the last 5 days where all of a sudden it was like I hop into Discord and people are talking about like a hypothetical. Well, what happens if the Alpha 2 server population drops 95% in the first week? And it's like, well, they dropped 95% in the first week. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what happens if the servers don't work? Then they don't work. Like, they don't work. Okay, we'll play something else.
It's
like,
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's absolutely gonna happen. Like, people are going to leave too. And so it was just really weird because it's, I don't know. I feel like people just, everybody has their own coping mechanism, right? And I think everybody's getting really excited about this game. And then they had to reverse hedge on like, okay, I'm going to talk myself off this ledge of this being like the greatest game ever. And this is so exciting. And I'm going to have so much fun doing this. And I'm just going to emotionally hedge on Discord and talk about how this game isn't going to come out. It's not going to work. And it's going to be later that way. Like in case I do get let down, like I'm already prepared for it. That's what it kind of felt like to me, but it was nuts everywhere. And I don't understand. I don't understand.
It was next level, dude. Like don't get me wrong. Like I really think, and we had the whole therapy session last time. I just knocked Ritchie off stream. We had the whole therapy session last time, and I think we kind of hit it like right on the head with that. But people are, I think, really just subverting their expectations because they've been burnt by so many MMOs in the past that they're overthinking this Alpha 2 test. But what are your thoughts, Ritchie?
I was when you're telling me the first day of Q3, and you're in my comments being like, "Oh, Alpha 2 is delayed. We haven't heard it. It's Q3." I'm like, you gotta step back a little bit at that point, because at no point did Intrepid say on July 1st of 2024 Alpha 2 is going to start, or even that we would have an announcement. So
right.
It's mind-boggling because I mean, in the 6 years that I've made content, you always have those people who jump in and like, oh, it's a scam, or this happened, or this isn't going to happen, and then you just kind of nod and move on.
Yeah.
But like getting this close into it's as soon as we hit Q3, it's like a wave of people who just come in and are like, it's not going to happen. It's going to be delayed. We're never going to play this game. And I'm like, just gotta hold out 3 months. If we hit September and we haven't heard anything, then there might be an issue, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, well said. It's just the Doomium is crazy, man. Before we get into the next topic, I do want to random tangent here, but I really feel like this stream was meant to be, and I know, oh my gosh, big brain hot take from Nyce here, but the stream was marketing. I know, you hear me out. But no, I really do think this stream was like pure marketing in a sense that, how Star Citizen's server meshing video and all that stuff is really popular in the MMO space. Mm-hmm. I think this stream was aimed to get out there in MMO space, like really put it out there, like, look what we're doing. Here's this technology that we're developing. Here's how we're doing different. Here's how we're changing the genre. Thank you, Tatamo, for the subscribing.
How I looked at it, and it's in the very similar vein to you, Nyce, and you probably agree with me on this. I looked at it as them auditioning their job openings that they have. Like, it looked like, to me, it was like, hey, this is what we're working on. Any of you nerds out there that are looking for a job and you want to do cool shit like this is what we're doing, and we need you. That's what it sounded like to me, because the minute they finished their entire live stream, they're like, hey, by the way, if anybody's interested in this stuff, feel free to apply. We got jobs open. And it was like they immediately segued into it. It was like, okay, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Nyce on the marketing thing. You don't take something and you name it IntrepidNet and make it a logo and all of that, expecting to just sit on it. Like, they 100% have plans to sell this thing down the road or patent it or whatever it is they do with it.
Well, yeah, very good point there. Like, it's really a good showcase of the tech that they're developing that they could sell to another brand. Think of them, I mean, obviously it's not a whole game engine. They're not selling a UE5, but the tools and how they've been able to make UE5 work to their will, that someone that tries to start a MMO 4 years from now, they can probably just I say take a shortcut by using the technology that Intrepid has already made for them and made convenient. This Intrepid tech, or whatever, what is it called? Intrepid tech?
IntrepidNet.
Intrepid Neck is already like a lot of progress, and it shows a lot of innovation. We talk about tools, or we talked about tools a lot. How I personally think, I know some people think it's coping, but I personally think that the more time spent on making tools is going to be a good investment for the long run. Like, okay, you probably have 7 nodes set up in the world right now, but the tools you're spending time on right now is going to make designing those later nodes even faster, even easier. They're attacking things at the base level. They're getting the network in right now, so they don't have to do a server overhaul, or they don't have to do this big game-changing patch 2 years down the line when they realize performance is just not being good. They're doing minor setbacks for major comebacks, or in this case, I guess you can say, a delayed launch of Alpha 2 in exchange for to be set up for a long run, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing in the desert preview 2 years ago. They did a tech showcase, and they had another. I can't remember the name of it now. They had another system that they designed in Unreal. Landform, yes. Yep, and it's the same thing. It was a tech showcase, but it was showcasing that this system that they created in almost like a marketing way. So like eventually they could be like, here, we can sell this to you, or you could use this to help not just Ashes of Creation, but the genre as a whole move forward.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I mean, I briefly mentioned before, but this entire thing potentially solves so many issues that the entire space has. And so if they can go out there and then go, hey, we can sell this technology to where all of a sudden performance works. Like how and games are just sitting there like, wow, like we have like the ability to actually make a game that will work on day one with a bunch of people in it. This is huge. And so I see the potential. I see the potential. If it works, like this very well could push the entire genre forward, and obviously it makes sense for them to market it and sell it if it is that successful, because it's such a big deal.
The MMO in itself would act as a marketing tool, like not a showcase, not like literally just it existing, it performing well, it having a reputation for performing well will make a Blizzard, an Epic Games, maybe even an Unreal Engine, whoever like pick this up, like, oh, let me get in on that. Now they made a lot of points to stream, especially at the beginning of the stream, to pretty much discuss like, okay, we are not just some UE5 asset flip, excuse me, that's just like using this built-in stuff. It just won't work for Ashes of Creation. We had to make so many tools, so many things ourselves. And you know what is the complete opposite of that to me? PAX Day. Ritchie, I know you're a PAX Day content creator main. I know, but
he shut off his camera. He shut off his camera so he couldn't show his face.
No, I think Nyce keeps shutting me off. My camera's still right here.
But to me, that's what I felt I was playing when I played PAX Day during the last alpha test and during that little content creator early thingy, whatever that was.
Yeah. So PAX Day's issue, I feel like, is just that they I mean, I don't think it's money related. I don't think they pushed it on Kickstarter because they need money, because they make a ton of money from their other games that Mainframe does. But I think it was like we have this cool idea and we don't know what to do with it, so we need some feedback and we need some help with it, because what we originally thought is not necessarily the right path for them to take.
Yeah, I saw the comparison. I think Sawman said it, but he's like, it's UE5 Minecraft. And I was like, yeah, yeah, it is. Right now it is. And I know they have plans and they're working on improving everything right now, but it's very bare bones. There's nothing, and they're earlier in the process. I'm not trying to, make fun of PAX Day or anything. They're earlier in the process. I just heard about them for the first time last year. They announced themselves last year. It's going to take some time, but yeah, it's not nearly as complete of a product as some other games that are waiting to come out.
I mean, it's not nearly as complete of a product as what we've seen for Alpha 2.
Exactly. No.
Yep. I'd like to go ahead and take this second to thank Ritchie for being here. No one for hosting the show with me every week, and of course you guys, the voices of Verra. We appreciate the subs, likes, donations, follows, all that good stuff. And what I would like for you guys to do, how you doing, Annie? What I would like for you guys to do, and this is going to be very, very important because this is feedback. This is feedback for Intrepid who may be watching the stream now or later. This is important feedback for us to read as content creators to see where the community's head is and everything like that. And I want you guys to answer this question live in chat. We'll pretty much go through all of them. What I want to know is, how do you feel about the Alpha 2 keys now being sold again? We were told in January that, like, FOMO, or not really FOMO because they gave a long heads up, but FOMO, that the packs will end in January, and that'll be your last chance before getting an Alpha 2, barring, giveaways and it opening up later, later in time, which we assumed was going to be at some point during Alpha 2. But there's going to be Alpha 2 key sales open before Alpha 2 even gets here. These will be different keys. They're not going to include the cosmetic packs and all that other stuff. I'm not sure if they're going to be Alpha 2 keys with the beta and everything like that. I'm not sure if it's going to be just purely straight up an Alpha 2 key, like outright, no end game time, no beta access, no nothing like that. I don't know at this moment right here. But how do you guys feel about it being open? And before you guys answer, I will preface Intrepid's reasoning was that this new technology that they displayed for us today, the server meshing, all this great tech and network and stuff, has gave them the confidence that they can now hold more people. And the reason that they stopped the packs before was they didn't want to have too many people that their performance couldn't handle. Now that they are at this stage with their network and they're, right before we're going into Alpha 2, they're saying that they now feel confident.
Yeah.
I want to get everyone's thoughts, opinions, tinfoil hats, overall thoughts. Let's start with you, No One.
So, sorry, this might take a little bit because I went back and I did some research after the live stream, but as it happened and as they announced them, we were talking in the Discord, our Voices of Verra Discord, and I was talking to people in the community, and I was like, didn't they say that they were gonna you wouldn't be able to get the Alpha 2 keys until after, like they may open them up after Alpha 2 has been out for a while. I thought that that's what they said on a live stream. And so I was like, why are they opening up before? Isn't this something that they didn't say that they were going to do? I was very confused about that because we did lots of videos. We did lots of live streams talking about this back in January and December. And it was, it's good that they're closing them down because you don't want people just to FOMO buy in. It's just like it's a terrible marketing tactic that other games do where they just sell a hyper product and like they get a bunch of people to buy in. And it always just makes me feel shitty when games do it. Like, it's like, hey, we got a hype trailer, buy into our early access and you haven't seen anything. And a bunch of people buy in because they're like, I want to play something new. Everything sucks. And so I asked the question. And I asked, like, hey, where is this coming from? Because I wanted a more specific answer about the server meshing. Like, I think we could have implied during the live stream that, hey, server meshing is working really well. A lot of things that they showed during the server meshing, like where potentially a server on the map could crash, but it doesn't crash the entire map. I think that's a huge aspect of why they open things up. And so I asked the question because I wanted like the official out there answer of why this was. And they came out and said, as shown in the stream, we've made great strides in our tech that makes us able to welcome more players to test Alpha 2. Because I do vividly remember them saying that they wanted to make sure that they were going to cater to the player base that existed at that time, that was already in. They wanted to make sure that they were going to have a good, enjoyable experience. And so I went back and I posted it in our chat, guys, if you wanted to check it out. But it was the frequently asked questions that came out last fall. And so it was, why are the pre-order packs ending? And it says, we have currently hit the number of Alpha 2 testers we are aiming for. In order to ensure everyone has a glorious experience when it comes to performance of our servers and game client, we want to make certain we can service our Alpha 2 testers to the best of our ability. After further internal and external testing, we may decide to expand the amount of Alpha 2 testers needed. That was the part that I missed in the frequently asked questions. That was the part that I missed, that they may do this. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's been 10 months. So I went from a perspective of like, I was like, okay, this is kind of a weird tactic. They didn't say they're going to do this. And I was like, actually, it was in the frequently asked questions. I'm just an idiot because I forgot. And so that was my perspective. And so I'm sitting here and I said this in Discord as well. I was like, this feels, I'm not saying that there's any anything bad about it. It was just like, it was kind of weird that it was closed and then they opened it. But at the same time, like I have so many friends that they couldn't get in, and then they were excited about it. And now it's opening up the opportunity for them. So I see it. It initially was weird.
Yeah.
But it's nothing but a good thing long term. The fact that they can take on more players for Alpha 2 means more testers, which means more bug fixes. It's nothing but a good thing. But it caught me off guard at first, and I had to do more research to, finalize my opinion.
So for me, I did remember them saying that they would do that. So that part wasn't a surprise. But for me, the surprise was, and this is not to nothing of Intrepid, and chat, you let me know if I'm not the only one in this boat. And of course, we'll be reading the comments from the Voices of Verra after we get my take and Ritchie's take. But for me, when they said they would open that date back up, in my head, like I don't even think they ever said this, by the way. This is just how I imagined it going in my head. So this is at no fault to no marketing, no anything. I thought that meant like, okay, throughout the course of Alpha 2 or after Alpha 2 launch, we would then open these sales back up. And this is outside of giveaways and normal things like that. I thought, maybe population dies down. So they're like, okay, not too many people are playing. So now we can justify selling more packs to get more people in here that want to test, that are prepared to test. I did not, once those keys shut down in January, and once we knew that quarter 3 was going to be quarter 3 for the Alpha 2, I did not predict that the sales would reopen before Alpha 2 even launched, before we even seen how many players were going to participate in Alpha 2. That's the part that caught me off guard.
Yep, me too.
But yeah, they said they would open it up potentially. I just didn't expect it. That's why it's weird for me. I didn't expect it to be pre-Alpha 2 that they opened back up. And yeah, I'm curious on their pricing on everything like that. That's to be announced. What are your thoughts on them opening back up the Alpha 2 keys, Ritchie?
So a few things. So to start out with dynamic meshing, like if they get dynamic meshing, that's a entirely new ball game. Not only does that, I mean, I made a video on this a couple days ago, but not only does that influence specific areas and bringing up servers for sieges and wars, it can bring up more servers for starting zones. It could bring up more servers for launch areas. So what Intrepid originally thought they could handle could now have been increased tenfold due to this server meshing. But Phantom X in chat also makes a good point of, why wouldn't they wait to test the dynamic meshing before making this announcement? Because it's game development. Absolutely anything could go wrong. So like, even if they don't launch or start selling keys until October, November, December, but why wouldn't you wait until you're 100% sure that these servers can actually handle this amount of people before you open those back up?
Yeah, so you think Alpha 1 spot testing should at least begin or be in process before they make that move to sell Alpha 2 keys?
I would think Alpha 2 needs to be in process, because if you look at Alpha 1, it's 16,000 people to start. How many of those people still stick around? Like, not all 16,000 of those people even played Alpha 1. So if you think 3-4 years have gone by, that number is probably less than half now. I'm sure some of them will come back when the testing actually starts and they get those emails, but that's not nearly enough players on top of the couple hundred PI might have to really test the servers to see, like, okay, is this gonna be able to handle a full launch of people?
Okay. So the Copium Clinic says, yeah, a little weird. Toxic Cape says, I have key bought 2020. Well, zero emotion selling or not selling. Morpheus says depends on the price. And he says, I think it's fine as long as the price doesn't sabotage the people who bought in prior. Yeah, sure. I think that's a very important thing that I imagine Intrepid will keep in mind. Maybe it's an Alpha 2 key by itself. Maybe it's an Alpha 2 key. Obviously, they already said no cosmetic pack or anything, but maybe it includes Beta 1, Beta 2, but it's at a comparable price. It's a tough line to walk. Like, what is that balance? Because I know me personally, if I could have saved money by pre-ordering Alpha 2, but I got a $40 discount because I didn't care for the pre-order cosmetics, I would have did it. If I could have pre-ordered Alpha 2 and it not included maybe or it included 3 less months of Alpha 2 time, launch time. Yeah, little things like that is what you got to keep in mind when you set your pricing on how people will interpret it and react to it.
Oh, and on that, because like if they come in like, oh, you can spend $50 and buy Alpha 2 access, I'd honestly be slightly pissed off in a sense, because someone will spend $500 on Alpha 1 packs, and you get Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2, and all those cosmetics and the game time and all of that. But like investing in a game that hasn't come out, despite how much I believe in the project, and I think Intrepid's actually going to pull through on what they say, putting in $500 when you don't have a tangible product is a massive investment, when I would much rather put in $50 and not get the mount skins or not get the game time and pay for that later.
Sure.
Very well said. Very well said. And I think that it's going to be tough for them to try to figure that out, because there's some players that don't care about being in beta 2, don't care about the game time, because they don't even know if they're going to like it. They want to just literally just play the game, just play Alpha 2, play it a week, see if it's for them, and it's like, oh, I dodged a bullet here, or something like that. And if you give the players the opportunity to do that for maybe hyperbolic, but $50, then that's that's gonna piss some people off, I'm sure. Jamie says they did say they would potentially open them back up again, so honestly, not that big of a surprise yet, for sure. They definitely said that. Ben says, bit weird, already bought one, but now excited because my mate who missed out can get one. And that's the positive thing you got to take from all this news, is that, well, at least now we got more people that have the opportunity to play the game. I've even stopped plugging my referral code and everything like that, because I felt like excuse my language, an asshole. Like, hey, use my code, sign up for Alpha 2, knowing that they won't get into Alpha 2. So like around January, I stopped putting that in my videos, or stuff like that, because and people commenting like, hey, when can I play this game, or how do I sign up for this game? I looked on their site, I can't buy it. I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry, you can't, like, you missed out. And no fault to Intrepid, because they gave people a big heads up, right? But people, as they see these videos, as they learn about the project, as they see these monthly live streams, as Intrepid starts to show off more and more people put faith into the product. Like Ritchie said, it's a lot to put $500 based off faith when you're not even playing the game. And the more and more market Intrepid does, and the more word of mouth spreads, more and more people are going to be willing to pay for this game. And this whole year, it's been awkward telling people like, oh yeah, you're just gonna have to watch me stream it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. A few things about the server state and where it's at right now. They hinted at it in the beginning, and I remember a few PI members talking about it as well, where they were testing in game, and a few people specifically crashed, and then the rest of the people did not. And so it's clear, like at least during some of the tests, that they already had these servers up and running, and they've already been testing it. And I want to be clear, I know nothing about server technology or anything, but I will say that, if they really went in January from saying, or late last year from going, we don't feel like we can cater to enough players to where we want to have them buy more packs, so we're not going to do it because we care about the value of the product at this point, to now all of a sudden going, hey, let's open up the doors and let more people in. They're clearly they have people that are very confident that the next step is actually getting people in there to stress test these servers on a much higher scale. And so maybe they walk it back, possibly, like after Alpha 1, they get 500 testers in there, and they start stress testing that. They get 1,000 people in there, and all of a sudden they hit a log jam, and they're like, what, we're just going to walk this back, and maybe randomly draw people for the first couple. Who knows? But that had to have been a clear, like a very high benchmark to clear in order for them to be willing to do this.
It says a lot about their confidence with the progress they've made with this network and technology that they're willing to. And maybe they eventually seen like, okay, the more, yes, we may end up having too many people. Maybe we end up with a 2,000 person queue per server for a freaking alpha test. Yeah. But that's what we need in order to properly push this system, push these servers to their limits. So that is one way to look at it. Phantom says, I'm very surprised to see them open it up, especially before the start of Alpha 2 and getting large numbers of people in. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I just felt like maybe wait till Alpha 1 spot testing. Frisk says if the Alpha 2 keys aren't $250 but cheaper, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah, I could see some people having that reaction. Date and price to be dated, yeah. Fuppo says, I'm not surprised to Phantom. Was stated when they closed them that if the tech/servers could support more, then they would open sales again. Was in the FAQ about the packs last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, I just don't think no one expected that to be before we tested the people we already had for Alpha 2 or before we did Alpha 1 spot testing. So
Yeah.
I just think that, I mean, the way you could look at that, it's all about perspective, right? But I think the way you could look at that is that's how good this technology must be.
It's how
Jamie
confident they are.
says, exactly. Jamie says, honestly, it reminds me of the Alpha 1 keys. I've seen so many people asking for Alpha 2 keys that just found this project like 3 to 5 months ago that missed the window. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like, so many people were didn't get in on that FOMO, and like I'm not gonna go through all my comments to all those people that I told like, oh, sorry, it's too late. But hopefully Intrepid does their marketing right, get this news out, because a lot of people really thought they missed out. So for the most part, this is good news, because maybe those people still got that 250 save. They still ready to buy this at the last second. But hey, also, what about those people that bought just the beta? And remember they said they give people the opportunity to upgrade? How
Yep.
does that work? I guess that works the same still. But could
Well,
you how does that work actually?
My thought would be that this is just an Alpha 2 key. You're paying X amount of money and all you get is Alpha 2. And then maybe they introduce the beta keys in the same fashion down the road.
So if you have a beta 2 pack, because they were packs, right? Like a beta
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
thing. I wonder if there's gonna be a separate price to upgrade, not to Alpha 2 pack, but just to literally just add a key. Like, do you get a discount for just adding that key? I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be, I can't wait to see what they come up with. Jonas Ridenhall says Ritchie SH is a pod person. I don't know what that means. But Fuppo says, not like they don't want to give the fans an opportunity to test and give feedback. The technical limitations were questioned and to best serve the players. Yes, for sure. Godwood says, yeah, I also imagine it would be post A2 launch for some reason, probably because they talked and mentioned external testing being a factor. Optics are going to be so important. True, for better or for worse. I don't think Ashes should be judged this early, but it will. Yeah, we talked about a lot. It's an alpha test. You know, we as a community got to make sure not to judge it too harshly. Obviously, we want to provide our feedback though, but we got to be prepared that people that's outside of our core community that we stream this game to, that we show this game to, et cetera, like I don't want to see Reddit MMORPG the day of Alpha 2 launch. Like, WoW's better than this. Like, what?
Yeah.
WoW did this better. Like, it's just gonna be. I really foresee that being a thing. Galwood says, "Imagine buying the last pack in January, and then Intrepid sells Alpha 2 keys for $40 a few months later." Oh man.
Well, it's because there was that. I know they tried to avoid the FOMO, but like there's that rush for FOMO. Like it's gonna happen. You can't avoid that. You have X amount of time to buy this pack, and then it's gone until who knows when. Could be before Alpha 2, could be after Alpha 2. So I imagine there's gonna be some upset people in that ship too.
Yep. But I mean, when you look at the direction of the game, like I said, the more people testing, the more people stress testing, the more people finding bugs, it's just making a better product. And yeah, it's one of those, like I went back and I combed through like 4 live streams, just like the Q&A stuff. And Steven was like, there was one specific one. I think it was in December, and he made the comment. He goes, "Hey, when the game goes live, this is all about catering to the players. It's about Stakino's here. It's about catering to the players. It's about catering to providing them a service. But before that, when we're in Alpha 2, it's about fixing the game and making the best game possible." And they're like, there's a very different aspect of this, and it's understanding that that's where Alpha 2 is coming from is very important for the player base when they invest in Alpha 2.
What up, Q? Welcome on in. Oh, that's hilarious. So Viral had a fun question in chat that I'm going to pass to Ritchie.
Okay.
It's more of a comment, but I'm going to reword it to a question. How would you feel if they opened a cosmetic shop during the Alpha 2?
I think I am going to die on my hill of I hate cosmetics in general. Because they
Oh.
take away from the immersion of the game. They take away from that kind of awe in high level characters where you're leveling and you're like, wow, that guy has some pretty cool gear. Where's that come from? It takes away from the PvP aspect where you don't know what you're going up against. And I know they're gonna do cosmetics because it's just financially, it's gonna be an extra form of revenue for them, and everybody does it these days. But like, I would at no point would I ever say I want cosmetics.
Okay. Okay. Simple reason, cash flow. They are selling more keys because they need cash flow. Yeah. So I'm typically on the fence with this. As far as during the alpha, I think it'll go good PR wise not to do it, but I'm not like gonna see it and throw a tantrum. Um, you said something there that I always disagree with. And it's because I'm a cosmetics whore, but I never, and I know there's strategy to it when it comes to what I think you're referring to as transmog, where like you don't want to run up on somebody in full cloth armor, but they're really a tank, and you find out like, oh, this guy is not taking damage. Turns out he's a tank. Like, and that's kind of misleading because strategically you maybe would have focused them out last or something like that. I
Yeah.
just love transmog in games. I love making my character look the way I want my character to look, but I get the immersion breaking of it. I do get the argument of why it's some people don't like it. For sure.
So think of it with, because they have their health bar. So in PvP situations, you can't see the full health bar. You're going to see
Yeah.
fragments of it. And with that aspect of thinking of like, I know you didn't play WoW, but like Burning Crusade WoW, when arenas first came out, and there'd be these guys walking around in like the best arena gear you could get. And imagine that being completely masked. You can't see somebody's health bar, and you're like, you know what? I could win in a fight against that guy in my full PvE set, which isn't necessarily going to be the entire case of Ashes, because I don't think there's going to be like WoW had a stat that distinguished its PvP from PvE gear, but it's just that mindset of like, you could very much be going up against this guy who has the best gear in the game, and you're gonna get completely squashed, especially when you can't even see their health bars.
Sure.
True.
I see that perspective.
Yeah.
For me, when it comes to cosmetics, I don't care about cosmetics. The only thing I care about when it comes to cosmetics is as long as it doesn't dominate fashion to a point to where it's literally the only thing out there. So if there's for instance, on the Elder Scrolls Online, 98% of mounts are in the crown store. Like you can only get 2% of overall mounts through achievements in game. And so if there's not a balance there of availability to get stuff outside of it, I think that's a miss. But if people if they want to make money through people wanting to buy things willingly, it doesn't bother me too much. I'm going to blaspheme here, Nyce, and I'm going to give one compliment to New World, in that the one thing that they did well as far as their combat goes is, even though they did transmog later on, you were able to tell who was in light, medium, and heavy based off of the type of roll or hop or whatever that they had. True. And so with that specifically, I totally understand where Ritchie's coming from, because I use that to my advantage in ESO, where I'd run like a bow, like I'd look squishy, but I was actually just tanky as shit. I definitely exploited the hell out of that. But if they have other combat cues, you can avoid that to showcase like what kind of armor they're in a different way. So there's other ways to alleviate that, is what I'm trying to say. And we'll see if they actually do those things.
Intrepid did also say they're going to have that. There's like an icon on the health bar. Jonas, thank you so much for the funniest $10 donation ever. Funniest $10 donation. He says, thanks for having Ritchie SH on your show. He needs the exposure. I love it. But yeah, they did. And I haven't seen this actually implemented in game. Maybe it is. I just haven't noticed or looked for it. But they did say, like, whatever your armor class is, they'll have it on your health bar. So if they do actually do that well, to where like maybe there's like a circle around the archetype symbol that determines exactly how much health, or rather resistances, a target has. If there's something I can look at a quick glance, then that would be enough for me. But yeah,
Sure.
I'm not super like if there's like no transmogging or if it's a transmog, it has to look like that actual weight class. I'm all for it. I totally get the strategic thing. I'm not like, gun ho about it. Thank you again for that donation. I I wanted to talk about something. What was it? I think I had put it in our
Nice.
Discord.
I'm excited to talk about something.
Yeah, I love something.
Yeah, something's great.
What was it? Talked about the Doomium. So, can we talk about? I know this is probably a tired old conversation. You know what? I'm going for this. Let's do it. I know it's a tired conversation. Hold on, let me find Ritchie again. I don't know where I put him.
Why you keep moving me?
I don't know why it's doing that today. So actually, here I'm gonna have to move Ritchie again because there is one thing that I wanted to get here. Hold on, chat. It is a Reddit article, and it's from June 25th. It's in our official Voices of Verra preview chat.
Okay.
And it's titled, is AOC going to be too focused on PvP aspects? And I think this will be a very interesting one. And here, let me move some things around on my screen.
You know, Nyce, everybody's been malding. We were just talking about this earlier. And now you're just gonna poke the bear again.
Oh yeah. And that's actually my intention.
Okay, great.
So here, let me share my screen with you guys.
As long as we're on the same page, that's great. So
here we go. There it is. All right, so there we go. I'm going to read this Reddit article. This is a post from Evil Sniper XV. I posted this a while ago. I don't remember what the context was, but I posted it in the Discord, so obviously I like the title. And that's what attracted me to this. So we'll read this and get your take, chat. So once again, this is from Reddit user Evil Sniper XV. Is AOC going to be too focused on PvP aspects? So let's take a look at this. I try to follow the devlogs, but there are significant gaps in my knowledge base. I like that there are going to be PvP aspects and social activities that change the world. But in my small group of MMO fans, when we speak about Ashes, the overwhelming sentiment of them, who are former WoW, OS, and RS3, FF14 players, is that they hope it's not too focused on PvP. Or they like how everyone has to contribute to the node system, but they're also concerned that it creates an endless grind of doing the same activities every day to level up a node. We all work full-time jobs, and the last thing... You okay, else?
If I see a comment about a dog, I swear to God.
We all work full-time jobs, and the last thing we want to do is log into a world where we feel like we have to work some more. That's what burned out many modern players on WoW. And it seems like some of the node system is around that with, quote, contributions. I guess my knowledge gap is significant, so I'm just trying to learn more on how to combat some of those fears when our friend group discusses the game and reviews the newest devlogs. Super excited about AOC, but worried about the endless grind and PvP when some of us also want PvE like more traditional MMOs. That last sentence, when some of us also want PvE.
Gross.
That goes back to my hot takes video, doesn't it? Like where I'm like, people think because PvP getting attention that the PvE just doesn't exist. Like there's no dungeons, there's no nothing. But okay, so that's that. I'll give my quick feedback, I guess. I just think how do I put this right? It's funny because if you listen to today's stream, the developers referred to Ashes of Creation as a PvP MMO, just outright. Like they said PvP MMO, open world PvP MMO multiple times. So it is PvP at its heart, right? It has PvP in the open world allowed. There's obviously PvE, there's dungeons, there's this, there's that. It's all together. It's one game. It's PvX. But there is PvP. I know he's trying to, I guess, convince his friend group and like say, hey, it's not gonna be so bad. There's not gonna be PvP everywhere. Um I don't know how to tell people, but that's just the game. That's what people sign up for. That's one of the core pillars. That's one of the things that feed into risk versus reward. That's the game. That's the game. Now, is it going to be like corruption? Are you going to be getting ganked all the time? No, probably not. But yeah, Copium Clink here says, I'm concerned that this game will have too much PvP and not be like the game I just quit. Holy crap. Can we read that one more time? Because I think the Copium Clinic just did a better version of his quote. Like that's the translation that they probably need to hear. And once again, this is and let me say this actually. This is no fault to this Reddit user because I think this was a genuine post. Like, and he said, like, hey, I don't catch every stream. I don't know everything. Just give me some help to convince my friends to play this game, blah, blah, blah. So once again, this is nobody bragging on that guy. This is just for him to address his concerns to his friend group. So he says, Copium Clink says, the real translation is, I'm concerned that this game will have too much PvP and not be like the game I just quit. Why do people want another WoW? Why do people want another Final Fantasy 14? Okay, no one wants another New World, so I'll skip that one. But why do people want like another ESO or whatever the case may be when we have those things and we've seen what happened with them? We've seen what didn't work.
They don't. They want that nostalgic feeling of when they were 15 years old and could sit on their bed and play World of Warcraft until 6 in the morning and then go to school.
Yeah.
Which you're never going to get back as an adult, unfortunately. So I think part of it is, yes, we want a good MMO and we want something that has that kind of brings us back to those MMOs that we enjoyed. But we're never, like myself, I'm 30 years old now with 4 kids and I'm married and have a job and I'm never going to have time to enjoy an MMO like I used to. It's just not going to happen unless everybody unsubscribes from Nyce Gaming and goes subscribes to me so I can do this full time. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't let this man achieve his dreams, chat. Like, I honestly, that's a good point there. It may just be that feeling of nostalgia. Maybe that game wasn't even that good, but your time and your life was good back then. You had less responsibilities. Like I remember when I was 12 years old playing that version of WoW, and then you go back and you look at that version of WoW, or you really break down what it is, and it's just like, I think you just had more time to play it back then, or you never know. Some of it is just games and old school systems were just actually good, but some of it is nostalgia. Some of it really is. What are your thoughts, else on hearing PvP may scare a friend group away and what to be prepared for and etc.?
Yeah, so the only reason I cited this, and I want to be clear, like I'm not mocking this person or I want to be clear that that's not what I'm doing. It's just the we have work, like everybody has freaking work. Okay, like it's not an excuse. Everybody, like just about everybody that plays MMOs right now work. It's an older group of players that play. And so when I saw that, I was just like, it was the eye roll of I got 5 kids, 2 dogs and 3 wives and I don't have any time to do anything. That's where that came from. But to answer this guy's questions, if he ever stumbles across this live stream, it's not going to be like any of those games. It's not. Most of those games are theme park based. If you're hoping for a theme park based game where your character just gets better and better over time, that's not this game. This game is a sand park game where sometimes you will have great days, great weeks, and sometimes you'll have bad days and bad weeks. Things are going to go up. Things are going to go down. Different things are going to happen. I think it's going to have a lot more replayability. I think it's going to be more exciting because you're not going to get into the monotonous everyday grind of other MMOs as quickly because there's just going to be more moving parts. But there will also be PvP. And is how much PvP is going to exist, how much corruption is going to exist. Is it going to be a gank box? We won't know any of those things until we get into alpha, beta 1, and beta 2. And you're going to have to weigh your own personal PvP preferences as to what the systems are and see if it's for you. I personally am very excited for this game because it's so much different than all the other MMOs. I made this I did an Elden Ring video today, and I came out and because people talked about that game too, about how it's too hard and it's too difficult. And basically, like, my analogy was, when players are playing games, it's almost like going to a like the analogy I use is like going to a restaurant. There's your Applebee's and there's your Ruby Tuesdays, your generic, like it kind of has a little bit of everything. It's got a good price point. The food's okay and everything's fine. And most people end up going there because it's your main, it's just your mainstream restaurants. And for whatever reason, MMORPG players want every single restaurant to be Applebee's, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like, hey, yeah, Peter Luger's is great, but you know what we could use? We could use some Fiesta Lime chicken in this bitch. Let's have some of this, because I want Fiesta Lime chicken. I want 2 for Tuesdays. I want to have my boneless chicken wings because this is what I think I like, and it's so. That aspect is like, it's just not something I understand. And so you just want the game to come out and be the best version of what it is. And maybe it fits into what you like and maybe it doesn't. But at least they're going forward with something cool, and developers will see that and they will go, hey, I'm going to make something cool that I like. And the space evolves that way.
How do I word this? I just think people need to know what they're getting into. Yeah. I think people just need to know what they're getting into and set expectations. Deuce had a good comment here. He says, MMO players like to pretend they want innovation, but in reality, they want more of the same and bring resistance if it has a vision that's far from the norm. And that goes back to what I was saying, like they want WoW too. It's like, they want WoW, but they realize that there's a reason they're getting burned out on WoW. So they want WoW, but they want to change that one thing that they disliked about WoW. And so maybe you look at Ashes of Creation as the WoW you never had, the WoW that you want, but it comes with a side of PvP, and that's not what you don't want. But if it didn't have this, if it didn't have open world PvP, that would be the successor that I was looking for to get me out of this MMO funk. And I think that's what a lot of players are attempting to do.
But the fact that so many people compare Ashes to WoW drives me insane in a way, because Ashes is going to be nothing like World of Warcraft. There's not a single system besides it being a tab target game, even though Ashes isn't really fully tab target, that I would say is going to even be similar to how World of Warcraft functions.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And you look at, and I think what you said before, Ritchie, is it's the nostalgia aspect. You look back at a point in time when World of Warcraft was at its peak. There was TV shows coming out about World of Warcraft. You could argue that World of Warcraft, the game itself, has one of the biggest societal impact games of all time, as far as like its influence at its peak. Other games, obviously, like Fortnite and whatnot, but I think people look back at that and they just expect it to the next game to be that. And I don't really expect any game to ever capture a moment the way World of Warcraft did. And I think it's just, I think it's feudally looking for something that probably doesn't exist. And whoever's making games should just focus on making the best game possible. And players will play, like, you may think you don't like it, but it may actually just be something you really enjoy because it's done so well in that specific genre.
J-Rock says $15 to try it. Him and his friends are trying it either way. Like that's often an underrated thing about Ashes, is not having to pay a $40-$60 box cost and then realize you don't like the game. What was that? Arcade, I paid the monthly fee one time. I didn't last more than a month. I don't think I lasted 3 days. So that's the benefit with these. That is the one benefit of these sub cost kind of systems, if you will.
So speaking of that and the no box cost thing, I'm pretty sure that is part of what made World of Warcraft what it was is the fact that every time you bought a copy of the game, or you bought the card that had game time, or you bought an expansion, they gave you like 4 codes for a 7-day free trial that you could then go and hand to your friends, and then everybody in your group would just play WoW and do that 7-day trial and get hooked. And I think that's part of, as weird as it is, I think that's part of what was behind WoW's success, is that like minimalistic marketing that you don't really see, you don't hear about. It's not an ad or something, but it's just like word of mouth of, oh, hey, I got this game key. You should come try this game with me.
You know, drug dealers actually learn from World of Warcraft. You know how they give you the first one for free because they know you'll be back?
Yep.
Yeah. They learned from Blizzard Entertainment.
I mean, no, I know nothing about that, but
I mean, now you have me questioning why they called themselves Blizzard, you know, as so
a lot of snow.
A lot of snow.
So what I would like to do for the remainder of this show, once again, thank you for everyone that is here. Appreciate everybody. Thank you for all the support. I want to bring the focus back on Brokey SH. And by the way, have you guys noticed his background change more and more throughout the stream?
Just added more people to the podcast. That's great.
I know I have Jamie in here somewhere that I want to stick in this background, but I can't figure out where I put it.
One Jamie that'll complete it. That'll be it. That'll be the cherry on top. So you've been making Ashes of Creation content for how long?
2018, I think. Somewhere in there.
What would you say has kept? Because you're not a Kickstarter, are you?
I'm not a Kickstarter, no.
What has kept you following the project? What has been that thing that separated Ashes of Creation to make you like, you know, I'm gonna keep covering this game. I'm gonna keep looking into it, and not only look into it, I'm gonna be covering content for this game, not knowing when I'm actually gonna be able to use my own gameplay aside from the, I think, month of Alpha 1.
So the Ashes of Creation, and you know this, but most people probably don't, is Ashes of Creation wasn't what my channel started as. It was kind of like a side thing, kind of like you do with like jumping into Elden Ring type thing. I used to make just Sea of Thieves content, and it was just what I did. And then I discovered Ashes, so I started trickling in a video here or there. And then around I think it was like 2019. It was shortly after. Around the 2019 mark, I got tired of Sea of Thieves and was like, screw it, let's go all in on Ashes. And that's when it really started, and I started putting out more videos. And then the Lazy Peon video, my channel exploded in a sense where I think I gained like 3,000 subscribers overnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I did like daily videos that week of when he did it, and then Asmongold reacted. So I just rode that wave.
Yeah,
sure.
But and then Alpha 1 happened. So it was like a chain of events, and Alpha 1 happened. And after Alpha 1, I took a break for a solid 4 or 5 months. Like, all right, I'm a little exhausted on this. I'm going to step back. And then now it's like, it's 100% I believe in the project, and I want to play Ashes, and I think it's going to be a great MMO. I think it's going to be a great game. But there's also that kind of thing lingering in the back where I've put in 6 years into this channel, so I don't think I could stop if I wanted to.
Sure.
That's nice. Well said.
Yep.
Okay. So I know you want to be a dwarf. But
the only race that matters.
What archetypes are you going for? Like, what's the first archetype? Knowing that, we know that Summoner and Rogue isn't going to be at the launch of Alpha 2. So Alpha 1 spot testing starts next week. You load in Ashes of Creation. What is the first archetype you select?
So I keep getting asked this question, and I don't have an answer. Because Alpha 2 is going to be my trial period, in a sense of I want to play everything. I want to figure out what each of these classes can do, not just like for YouTube's sake and making content, but also to figure out once the game comes around, which class is going to be my main or which archetype is going to be my main. So I'm either going to do it whatever Genesis needs to fill in slots, I might do it that way. Or I might leave it up to my channel and do a poll and be like, okay, what class do you guys want to see first? And have them vote on it and go that way.
Nice. Okay. What we're gonna do some just a little bit of guild related stuff, but what attracted you to the Genesis guild besides Rive always doing this thing with his hands? Yeah. Oh.
So I started my plan, like everybody I feel like was to make my own guild and start recruiting some of my audience into it, and Roar was going to help me out with it, being raid leader, and I had a few other real life friends that were going to do it. And then the further we get into this, the more I'm like, I'm already short on time. Like making videos and balancing life, and then on top of playing the game is already going to be insane to figure out how to do it and give everything the time that it needs. And then I started seeing the amount of spreadsheets and the amount of data that Rive had already collected for this guild, and all these plans he already has in place, and just the amount of stuff that there's no way in any way, shape, or form that I would ever have time to do that much planning on top of doing YouTube, on top of doing life, on top of playing the games. I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just join Rive. And then really that's how I ended up here.
I wonder when that reality, or if that reality would set in for me, because a lot of people just early to stream, someone was asking like, "Hey, are you going to start your own guild?" And people ask Elsa and I all the time, and we're just not sure what we're going to do. We don't know if we want to do like a small scale guild, but at the same time, we're both fathers of twins, not together. By the way,
that was my next question.
And we obviously have lives and got content creation, and then obviously just wanting to play the game, et cetera, and so there's times it's like, okay, do we start this? And if we start this, can we be fair to our guild members, like actually put in the time and do all this other stuff? Or would it be better to join someone else's and like, I don't know, just be like maybe a high ranking officer, or like have a set assignment? Like maybe we just do the small scale stuff. Like in this scenario, like you guys, Genesis will be Genesis B or something, like lead a subsect of, bat cap and little squad or whatever, little hit squad, something like that. And honestly, that chat doesn't know it, but the reason we do all these guild interviews is just so we can figure out where we belong. It's not because we just want to interview people. We just want to know where we belong.
It's funny too, because Ashes is very much a guild-driven game, and I mean, like, you can do the small-scale community guild where it's not as much organization. You can do the, like you said, like the little like sub-guild of, we're just going to be this small group and we'll just kind of like be a part of this guild, but not. But in order to achieve, I think, what a lot of us want to achieve in Ashes and get to that end game content and be part of those massive sieges and wars over castles, you're going to need to be in a semi-significant guild, or at least alliance with one. Because if you go in there with a tiny guild that nobody's ever heard of you, like nobody's going to include you in their wars. Nobody's going to take you as a serious threat or anything along those lines.
Yeah. Like Nyce said, it does come down to testing. It comes down to figuring out what effectiveness is and like what type of fights we're going to be able to have. And I just know me and Nyce specifically, and I'm speaking for you, Nyce, because we're father of twins together. So no, but my perspective on it is the worst feeling I had playing these types of games in the past is when you accidentally join the wrong guild, where they have a different mission statement and like, I want a PvP, I want to fight. And some guilds are not going to do that. Some guilds, they want to work through diplomacy. They want to work through just more economical means to where they like they're going to be friendly with everybody, and this is how they're going to succeed. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just don't want to join a guild and then all of a sudden find out that I'm handcuffed from doing what I want to do, and then I end up leaving and having to go somewhere else. And it's like, I'm gonna wait until the type of guild that I see presents itself. And if we're on the same servers at that point in time, then yeah, let's do it. So
Well, and I talked a lot to Rive about that before I actually gave up my dreams of joining a guild, because like guild or no guild, I'm still, content creation is my first goal. It's to run my YouTube channel, and it's like I'm not going to join this guild if Rive isn't willing. Which, if he doesn't have to, I mean, it's his guild, he can do whatever he wants. But if like a guild's not going to let me record this dungeon run or stream on Twitch while we're doing this thing or that thing, like, and then it's not going to be fitting for me. But I've known Rive since 3-4 years now.
sure.
I don't even know, and I feel like we click very well. So to me, it was always the next decision for me.
Nice. That's good. That's really good, actually.
That's great.
Sticky here in chat says, one thing is a thorn in my side in this live stream. I don't think it's fair to sell Alpha 2 keys at a lower price while people that paid more haven't gotten anything for their money yet. So we discussed this much earlier in the stream, Sticky, but pretty much they've always said that they were going to reopen Alpha 2 sales. They did give that initial January, I guess you can call it FOMO date, that last day to buy Alpha 2. That is the case. But they've always said that if they felt like their networking or their servers warranted or could handle more people, they would reopen servers. However, I think you, like me, thought that time would be after Alpha 2 had started. But I think they're so confident with this server tech that you saw in today's stream that they're like, hey, let's go ahead and get them in now. We can definitely handle it. So I think that's what's happening there. Now, as far as lower price or not, they haven't confirmed exactly. They haven't confirmed how much that Alpha 2 key is going to be. And if it's Alpha 2, but it doesn't come with the stuff that you and I have with an Alpha 2 key, that being the Beta 1, Beta 2 as well, that being the in-game time, that being the Embers. If it's just a pure Alpha 2 key and they're selling it for $120, $150, that would be something to discuss. That maybe that's fair, honestly. We'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll just have to see, kind of play it by ear. I do know that there is a lot of people, even back in January when the packs ended, there was a lot of people who would have just bought the Alpha 2 key, that would have been satisfied with not getting a Beta 1 or Beta 2 key that came with it, that would have been satisfied with just the Alpha 2 key. So maybe that specific niche would indeed have a issue with it. But yeah, I think that's what's happening, is a lot of people feel like me when they just didn't expect it before we even had a chance to look at servers or how stability is with Alpha 1 spot testers, see how stability is with Alpha 2 testers. We didn't expect the keys to open up before then. Sticky says, I see what you mean, but I would have spent less money if I knew this would come. Oh yeah, yep. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, and the nice part about this also is, if you go and look at the keys, like they have a monetary value for everything that they're giving, like in-game cosmetics, the amount of months that you get of free service when the game goes live. You can kind of math out what they think Alpha 2 is worth. Like you can compare the Beta 1 and Beta 2 keys and see, okay, they value, I can't remember the exact number. We were talking in Discord and I haven't verified it, but they said basically Alpha 2 is, with the bundle, Alpha 2 is basically worth around $60. On its own, like out of the 250, Alpha 2 itself standalone value is like $60, if I remember correctly, for the numbers. And so when you look at it from that perspective, if you're only getting that, you're getting none of the cosmetics, you're getting none of the monthly subscription, you're getting none of these things, and it's allowing Ashes of Creation to get the game out faster, that's fine by me. But yeah, it has to be whatever that Alpha 2 value already is labeled as. If it's less, it's going to be an issue, because I would have waited too. I think we all would have waited if that was the case.
I remember you and I bought our Alpha 2 keys at the same time, and I think the week leading up to that, we were coping. We were justifying this $250 purchase the best way we could. Like, well, technically, we get the Beta 1, Beta 2, that's got to be worth this much money. And then maybe the cosmetic pack's not so much. But look, this is like 6 months, whatever it is, 8 months in game time, we would spend this much amount. So technically, it's not $250.
Yeah.
It's only $60.
Over the next 6 years, it's actually this.
When I bought my Alpha 1 key, I probably made the worst financial decision of the timing on buying that, because I waited till the absolute last minute before the keys were going away. And then I was like, okay, I need this key. So I just bought it. And then I think I put off like 3 other bills just to buy it.
Dude, at least you're not like the guy on Reddit who starved himself to try to afford one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was so sad.
Crazy story.
Yeah, we actually didn't put it on a stream because it felt sad or mean. It might be worth discussing now that Alpha 2 keys are back open, but yeah.
I don't think I'd starve myself for a key. No. I like food too much.
I also like food. I cannot do that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Starving yourself for Alpha 2, like there's got to be a different way to budget than starving yourself. Maybe cut back 1 meal a day. Maybe you eat breakfast every day, and so instead you just do lunch and dinner or something. I don't know.
Just don't pay your electric bill. Live in the dark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go get the lights cut back on when Alpha 2 gets here.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. All right. Well, this has been a fun one. Don't want to hold Ritchie up. We were late enough to start as is. Just want to say thank you, Ritchie, for being here. Once again, Ritchie is tagged on YouTube. Make sure you guys are subbed to his channel. I'm sure he'll have a video out. What do you think? Tomorrow, maybe?
I mean, I already put one out before you, but you know.
Before me?
Yeah, before you.
He's coming
Did you
for your
use the same
substance.
title
Did
as
you hear
me?
that?
No, I told you. I gave you guys crap for your title. You know, you were focusing on the server meshing and not the Alpha 2 news. So I think my title's like major Alpha 2 news just dropped or something like that.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get me then.
Yep.
Yes. And Viral just posted the link to the VOV Discord. Don't forget to join the VOV Discord. Very good times in there. Appreciate everyone that's been a part of this community. Always have some good talks, debates, and calling each other names in a respectful manner. It's a good time. Once again, check out the Genesis Guild. If you guys saw the Rive Genesis episode a couple episodes back, you guys know all about that. And let's see, I said sub to Ritchie, but you don't have to. I mean, if you don't have to. Now that I know his video got out before, I'm gonna stop promoing. His video got out before mine.
Everybody subscribe to Ritchie. Join Genesis. Whatever Nyce has told you about anything in the last 2 years, it's a lie. So come to me, I'll tell you the truth.
What else? So stick around. We are going to raid over. I think I saw, was that Vladis live?
It's
was
TGF Tavern. With
he's on
Vladis.
the tavern.
Yeah, is he on the tavern or is the tavern on Vladis?
No, they're on
Vladis.
Vladis. Yeah.
Oh, they're on.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Vladis. My bad. I thought it was the other way around.
Dang, he had a 6-hour stream today, and he's still live again. Let's see. I don't know how to do Twitch things, chat.
You go into your dashboard.
There you go.
Dashboard.
Stream manager.
Stream manager, they say. There it is.
I'm
Professional
gonna
streamer when I grow up.
I'm gonna raid Nyce here, and then Nyce, you can raid everybody else.
There we go. We come up. It'll look cooler when we come in. All right. Thank you guys so much. We are going to go hang out with Vladis. Thank you guys so much. This has been episode 52 of myself, Nyce Gaming. No one, Ritchie SH, and of course you, the voices of Verra. We will see you back Tuesday. Hope everyone has a good July 4th and enjoy their weekend. Thank you so much. See y'all.
See you guys.
Bye.